I don't know if I can sustain this. I'm dying.
There you go, mate. In this morning's shop ride, I took the gravel bike out with the roadies, and well, I wasn't sure if I was going to hang on. There's a point on rides like this where you try not to think about power, pace, speed, and pretty much you try not to crack. With long climbs, super fast descents, and a quick pace from the very beginning, this turns into one of the hardest rides I've had to do in the past month. But somehow by the end of it, I managed to beat my previous time by 3 minutes. So today, we're gonna find out if my gravel bike can actually hang on at one of Melbourne's most famous climbs, the 1 in 20.
You've got to blame someone for being late. Normally it's me.
Makeup's important.
Hey, it's a bit warmer than I expected. You're already feeling a bit warm.
I'm sweating looking at you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another brand new video on the YouTube channel. And this morning, I decided to take the gravel bike out with a bunch of roadies from Alchemy Cycle Trader on our shop ride to the infamous 1 in 20 climb here in Callista, which in hindsight may not have been the smartest idea, but stay tuned and you'll see why it was kind of a good idea. I don't know, however you want to spin that. But if you've ever wondered why it's called the 1 in 20, or if you've ever heard of it, the climb actually gets its name from the average gradient. For every 20 meters forward, you climb up 1 meter vertically. Sounds innocent until you're halfway up, questioning every life decision you've ever made.
Started the 1 in 20. Boys are already pulled away, but we'll set ourselves a pace and just stick to it. Not go too crazy. Just want to make it to the top in one piece after these 6-7 Ks.
And look, the ride started exactly how most rides start, with everyone pretending they're not racing while also somehow doing the race pace immediately. Within minutes, I was already warm, well, sweaty, specifically because Nige rocked up looking suspiciously fresh and aerodynamic this morning. It was warmer than expected too, which definitely didn't help his situation, but I was dressed for the occasion because I don't really put too much on.
I don't know if I can sustain this. I'm dying.
Now, I knew straight away that this was going to be one of those rides where if I tried matching every acceleration early, I was probably going to fizzle out before the climb even got interesting. So the plan was today, don't panic, ride at my own pace, and try to not get dropped into another postcode. So as we rolled out towards the base of the 1 in 20, pace started lifting pretty quickly. Everyone disappeared on the road. Honestly, it looked like someone had accidentally hit fast forward because I was left in the dust. Now, instead of trying to catch him, I just settled into my own rhythm. And honestly, became a bit of a tortoise and hare situation. Everyone surged. I was just ticking away at the back of the pack. I could still see the group up the road in the distance, which actually helped mentally because once you lose visual contact completely, that's where things get tough. So I just kept digging in, nice steady pace, focused on my breathing, focused on my cadence, trying not to stare at the Garmin every 4 seconds, hoping the gradient would magically just drop. And surprisingly, kilometer by kilometer, I actually started bringing the gap back. And that's honestly one of my favorite feelings in cycling, especially when I've always been just, you know, kicking it at the back all the time for these past 3+ months. It felt good. And so I was sitting about 17, 18 kilometers an hour up the hill. And on the gravel bike, it felt really solid, so I'm really happy with that, especially considering this thing isn't built to float uphill like some of those featherweight road bikes. And the crazy part was, despite pacing myself, I was actually climbing faster than I ever had before. And that's when I started realizing I might genuinely be on for a PB today. Now, of course, after every big climb comes the reward, and this is where things get very fun. The descent back down. The roads were a little bit dewy and wet in sections, so I definitely wasn't trying to set a land speed record through every corner, especially some of the tighter hairpins up there because you can absolutely overshoot those and get carried away. And if there's one thing I enjoy more than descending fast, it's not sliding into a guardrail. So through the tighter stuff, I was definitely giving those wet patches a little bit more respect. Still quick, just controlled quick. At one point, the whole group randomly surged again on the descent, and honestly, I still have no idea what happened there. Everyone just suddenly decided it was apparently the finale of Tour de France. So instead of panicking and trying to instantly close it, I just sat behind Nige and rode steady again, knowing we'd probably come back eventually anyway, which we did. Nige was absolutely flying too. Super nice Cannondale aero bike. It just whizzed. It just had a sick roaring sound to it. And up ahead, Nigel and Taman were basically trading pulls the whole descent, just piercing through the air and chaining turns together. It was actually seriously impressive to watch. I was in top gear trying to hold on to them, and I could only just barely stay connected at times. And honestly, my bike just didn't really have that extra gear left once the speed really ramped up on the descent. There were moments where they'd accelerate again, I'd just be spinning thinking, yeah, that's all she's got. But once you're doing over 60 kilometers an hour downhill anyway, I think we're probably moving fast enough. One thing I always try to do on descents like this is to communicate clearly whenever I'm passing riders, because at these speeds things can go bad very quickly if people don't know where you are. And being around 85, 86 kilos definitely helps me on the descents. Gravity, for once, becomes my best mate very quickly. So usually, my goal is to just hold a tyre of the faster guys in front of me while still leaving enough room for safety, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to get home in one piece. And honestly, that balance between speed and control is probably my favourite thing about descending. It's fast, it's technical, you've got to stay focused, but when you link everything together properly, it feels incredible. I've just got to try and nail those descents on gravel paths. I'm just not the most confident on that. But on the road, oh my god, I love it. I just feel like I just stick. Although it might be some false confidence, so I've got to rein it in a little bit, because I, once again, am still quite new to cycling, so I just got to take it easy, you know what I'm saying? But by the end of this ride though, I was absolutely cooked, frozen on the descents to a degree, sweaty on the climbs, which I don't mind a bit of sweat. I just drip, you know, you bend your helmet over and it just tips out sweat like, oh my god, it's actually ridiculous. I don't know if anyone else has that. Let me know in the comment section below, but you just push it against your forehead and it just drips down your face. And somehow, sometimes, actually both at the same time, frozen and sweaty. But we decided to invest in a Santini underlayer, which you'll see at the end of the video, because it's just worth investing in those things. But obviously when you're new to cycling and you've got all these things to buy, you just take it week or month or fortnight by fortnight, because things get a little bit pricey. However, I can definitely say now, sitting here recording this video, things are definitely improved. The technology that you have with the arm warmers, the gloves, the vests, all that type of stuff, it really is incredible to stay warm but not overheat at the same time. It's just incredible the way that heat dissipates when you're riding, when you're in the right gear. It's seriously, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. I ended up picking up my first proper Santini jersey as well in rust orange, because I wanted something to be more visible out on the road. I don't want people to not see me, so I just wanted to stand out, not in like a douchebag way, but just so people see me exactly how Nigel looks today. Be seen, minimize your chances of having a little bingle on the road especially. The gravel bike held up way better than I expected. The pacing strategy actually worked for once, and smashing my PB over 3 minutes definitely made all the suffering worth it. So maybe gravel bikes can hang with roadies after all. At least until the next climb. We'll see.
I'll catch you later. There you go, mate.
And post-ride, we're trying our new purchase on the Santini underlayer, which is fantastic. A lot of boys in the shop wear these as well, and they say they're fantastic. So I can't wait for my next ride to try this and go from there, because recently I've just been wearing my running compression wear, my 2XU, as you can see here, which is fantastic. It's great for running and everything, and I think it's good for cycling, but just something different, made for cycling with that technology. And after every ride, I always go home and make myself some tornado eggs with some Roma tomatoes on sourdough. So very much looking forward to that one. Let's go, baby.
Honestly, I didn't expect the gravel bike to hang on as well as it did, or myself. The pace was brutal, the descents were pretty damn cold, and there was a few points in that ride where I definitely felt like I was going to break. But somehow managed to beat my best time by 3 minutes. So we're happy with that. And after our coffee shop run, I ran back to Alchemy Cycle Trader, got myself my first Santini jersey, as well as a few more warmer layers, which is definitely needed coming into these cooler months. I've definitely got some more rides planned, So we'll see if myself and the gravel bike can survive those. Stay tuned, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.